Cause your vibe may be different, can shine in your eyes what I'm missing. Your body Ferrari, but your mind is my interest. You finding your find in the sky, we gon' ride the ecliptic like a Mercury transit.
Peace, y'all. Say it with Star Card Astrology, and I'm here to give you your daily astrology guidance for the weekend of October 1st to the 2nd of 2022. And I want to just say like, comment, and subscribe so that we can get this information out to everybody and grow this channel and just keep it popping, But let's just pop right into this here. Okay, so we have the moon now in Sag, and just to give a little update on everything, just let me know if the stream isn't, as if it's choppy or anything. I'm broadcasting in 1080 instead of 720. I'm gonna come back and check it out, but Hurricane Ian moved by. Everybody's good where I'm at. We're on the east coast of Florida, so and we're central, so we didn't get hit as hard as other areas did. But I don't know if I can drop it midstream. I don't really want to mess up the stream like that, but yeah, I can't. But it's all good. So, we have the moon at 21 degrees Sag, moving through Sag this weekend into Capricorn. But while it's in Sag, it will oppose Mars here. Okay? And Mars is slowing down, right? Still going slow, getting ready for its retrograde at the end of this month. So just this alone, people can get caught up in their emotions and start a lot of conflict. This is where emotionally we might feel like we know, what's best, especially with the moon getting squared by Mercury here. I'm going to leave it as a box because it is getting squared. We don't want to get caught up in a place where we're trying to, project onto other people or allow people to project onto us, whatever it is they feel that they know. A lot of people are, most of us that are keen to these aspects and energies, we know what to expect, right? So we don't want people to come in and try to just like dictate anything, act like they know our situation, act like they know how we feel. There's going to be a lot of people really thinking that they know how we feel or how we move with Mars, right? They might think they understand, our day-to-day or what we're trying to do and how we're trying to do it. And that could, cause a lot of upsets and hiccups and things like that. So I would say that's the main thing we want to avoid on Saturday. And people will feel like they should communicate their emotions with this square to Mercury. So we don't want to get caught up in that, because it could definitely blow out of proportion with this opposition. And look, Mercury is also squaring Mars here. Not necessarily the strongest square. It's the orb is probably off, but we can still call it that for the sake of this whole aspect of over communicating, thinking that we know more than somebody, or we know so much about somebody's situation and them thinking they know about ours. We don't need to get caught up in that. It's gonna try to come up, but that's not what we need to do, especially because Mercury is stationed, right? So this is the end of the retrograde, and it's opposing Neptune here. So we don't want to get caught up in this. Like, we can see what somebody's doing wrong in their life, or they can see, right, what they think we're doing wrong, or what to, what with what the vision that we have. Like, nobody's gonna fully understand our vision that we have for our life and what we're trying to do, because they're not us. They're not in our soul. They're not in our heads. We could try to explain it as much as possible, and they might have all this input, but at the end of the day, our journey is our own, and there's no way to predetermine how we're going to get there. It's just about trial and error coming from our own intuition, right? We can absorb information from other sources that feel right, but at the end of the day, we have to implement them. We have to fully integrate with them. If we intuitively feel like, oh, this sounds right, this feels right, what they said is right, and I'm going to go in that direction, because the mind can get influenced pretty easily, right? So it's kind of like, if you're striving for something, and to be like a famous artist or something, right? Painter. And people are like, get a regular job. Well, yeah, get a regular job. Pay the bills. Do what needs to pay the bills. But, there comes a point where you have to go 100% into what you feel called to do. And if you always listen to other people, they're always going to tell you, to put your passion on the back burner. But your intuition is going to tell you when to do that and when not to do that. And there are times when you don't need to do that. And you could miss opportunities for your art to be able to support your lifestyle and support yourself. If you always, I'm going to take this next job, or I'm going to go for this interview, I mean, some of that time could be spent, submitting your art to certain galas and, galleries and things like that, where you could get bought for $500,000 or whatever it may be. So, this is where we don't want to get caught up in what other people are saying and other people's beliefs. It's a big day for that on Saturday. So try to avoid it. Don't try to project any of that onto other people. Venus is opposed Jupiter. So again, this is where these things can come up within relationships, especially intimate ones, that, people get so connected, and then they feel like they should just dictate your life or tell you what you should and shouldn't do, and they don't really know. So, I've gotten caught up in stuff like that myself. And, I'm not here to put anybody on blast or anything like that, but, I've been in relationships where they think they know better for me. And they don't. They don't even know better for themselves. So, definitely don't need to get caught up in that type of energy on Saturday. And that's the main thing I would say we need to look out for, because other than that, Pluto, Saturn, Uranus, they're all in the same place. So nothing changes with that right now. It's still North Node Taurus, where we need to be steadfast in our value. And we do have Mercury making its trine with Pluto here, and Venus sessi square Saturn. So, a lot of heavy energy, not the easiest of days, especially on relationships. And, the way that we communicate can really go for a turn if we allow it to. It just depends on in which way. So be mindful, be patient, walk away from people who are just acting like they know everything. That's not going to be the vibe this Saturday at all, whatsoever. Sunday, the moon's going to move into Capricorn midday, a little bit before that. And it will square Venus. And it will also, and Jupiter's going to move to 2 degrees now. So it will be on this square to Jupiter. So still, we still could get people who are trying to tell us what to do. Emotionally, we're going to know what to do and what we need to work on, and really we'll feel better if we stay focused on working with the moon in Capricorn. Getting things done, especially for the upcoming week, right? We have Mercury now direct, right? Coming out of retrograde completely. Not moving forward yet, but it's not station retrograde anymore. It's station direct, about to go forward. So a lot of thinking coming back online, a lot more clarity coming back of what we're going to need to really focus on cleaning up, right, with this in Virgo, what we're really trying to harvest. Ideas can definitely come up, and we need to move through that intuitively while it's still opposing Neptune. But we do have, Saturn and Uranus making their big square now. Exact. So we're going to see from here on out the domino effect of our reality and the illusion that has been put onto us when it comes to this, whatever you want to call it, simulation, this orchestration that they got going on outside, this theater that's going on. So we're going to see that the chips fall more and more from here on out, especially with Mars trining Saturn while this is happening. So really we need to just make sure that we're working. That's what's really gonna keep us in the highest vibration. That's what's gonna keep us out of harm's way. That's what's gonna allow us to focus our attention away from things that are gonna try to, bring some type of negative vibe towards us. It's really gonna be this moon and Cap that is like, hey, what do you need to get done? What can you prepare? What can you build right now? And it's nothing new. It's building on what we've already been building. We have Venus and the Sun getting closer. So, you know, we definitely want to make sure that, I don't know why this doesn't want to change for me, but there we go. You know, we come from a place of love and compassion with our any type of relationships, especially our intimate ones. But because there's so many squares, oppositions, and planets in retrograde, I mean, there will be rough patches. There will be rough patches. But forgiveness, compassion, you know, that is really the place that we need to come from when dealing with these things. You know, a lot of people will absolutely get triggered by things that other people are going to say. And, you know, I've fallen into that category where I've said things that triggered people. They've said things to me that triggered, you know, and, you know, I think it's like where we don't want to look back and be like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't have said that. Right. For me, you know, I'm double Leo, you know, Leo sun, Leo moon, and I say what I feel and I stand behind that. And, you know, I do have a lot of compassion and I do try to see the other person's perspective. So, yeah, there are times where it's like, maybe I just shouldn't have said anything. You know, I think the main thing is when we go to say something, we have to think about, will it change anything? Is it going to change anything in that person? Are they going to do anything about what we said? Like, will they actually absorb it and implement it and make things better based off of what we might say that's going to trigger them? Or are they just going to get defensive and reactive and then still walk down the same path and still do the same things and still say the same things? Right? Because then it doesn't matter whether you say it or not, or whether you feel it's justified to say it or not, or whether, you know, nobody else is going to say it, so I'm going to say it. I mean, you're at that point, you're just saying things and knowing that it's going to cause conflict without change. Right? And, you know, I can be real and say I've done stuff like that recently, and, you know, it's not the best thing to do. It's definitely not something I recommend to do. Certain things do need to be said, but sometimes not saying anything is better, and letting people just be the victim of their own choices is better than just saying something and getting in an argument and whatever, right? So, definitely not the easiest weekend, but we can stay out of all that by just remaining focused. So, on what we're trying to build. The card for this weekend is the 7 of Swords upright. Okay? So, definitely need to be cautious of people. Definitely need to be cautious. I don't know what that was, or some type of hiccup, but definitely need to be cautious. People are definitely going to try to bring out the worst in us. Good morning, good morning. And we need to make sure that we're not falling victim to that. You know, people are going to try to say things, act like they know everything, act like they know our lives and whatever it is, and try to pull out, you know, our egos and try to, you know, make us feel like we're not valuable. And, you know, we can't allow that. There's definitely people who are, you know, smiling, and they're really thinking about how they can bring you down with that 7 of Swords upright. So don't allow it to happen. identify it as soon as possible. People trying to act like they, they're on your side. They know what you should do and what you shouldn't do, and don't let it trigger you. Just be like, okay, yeah, sure. And just keep it pushing, and that'll make them feel more fucked up that you don't even acknowledge the infiltration that they're trying to pull by just not giving them your energy, not giving them the opportunity, and staying within our value with this North Node in Taurus right now. So I appreciate everybody who has jumped in, leaving comments, all of that. And, like, comment, subscribe, share this with anybody who needs some guidance and who's into astrology. We're going to keep it rocking.